Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Yes, good afternoon and welcome back to the Kop TV. Before we do anything, just hit the like button. You might as well. We're here for a long time and we're here for a good time because no doubt we'll be having that with my brother, Mr. James Redmond, who's back on the channel. It's been a while, bro. Great to see your beautiful face.
We're back, man. We're back. And I mean, I kind of skipped all the crapness. It was like, I'm not going on the Kop TV if I'm sad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
no,
one of them ones. It's like, I'm back now that we started winning. He's back after a 5-game winning streak. James, the fake fan. Fake fan.
The fair weather Redmond fan. Love that, though, brother. It's great to have you back on. And we thought, listen, it's been an up and down season, hasn't it? It's been so crazy. There's been so many moments where we've written it all off. We've put our house on it and we've ended up third. But let's actually go through the whole season. So I've managed to get pictures from every single game that Liverpool played in this season. We'll touch on them very briefly.
That's what we want.
Come on, G. We'll do 30 seconds a game just to run through them all. But we're going to start off with this one, my bro. So this was back in August. Arsenal in the Community Shield, the 29th of August last year. As you can see there, Minamino scores his first goal for Liverpool. But we lose on penalties, James. Not the best start to the season.
That was a very interesting one, wasn't it, Alex? Of course, me and yourself, we were very confident for that game. I was certainly very confident for that game. I thought Liverpool, especially with the fact that Arsenal beat us in the league, I thought we were going to be able to stop them and win it and get a trophy out of it as well in their supposed home at Wembley and all that nonsense. So that was actually a game that I wanted to win. And also, even though it's the Community Shield, we could have maybe got away, at least to each other, of saying that we got a trophy this season. You know what I mean? At least to each other.
Yeah,
so,
I would have taken it. I would have taken it, mate.
Exactly, lads. We'll say to each other. We won't be boasting to United fans and that, but still, that was kind of. I feel like that game itself was maybe the perfect way to describe how this season was going to go. Good in moments, very, very bad in moments, but overall, just not very clinical. Do you know what I mean?
Not very clinical. I mean, we were with each other. We were with each other, I think, maybe the week of this game with the AFTV lads in London. So we were confident.
We met them as well.
But listen, it started off in the actual season well. I mean, we beat Leeds 4-3 at home. Salah getting a hat-trick on the first day. A great game, some great goals from both sides, really, to be honest. And this was kind of a message to send out to the rest of the league from Leeds that this is how they were going to play this season. They finished 9th, bro.
I've just said that the Arsenal game was a perfect description on how this season was going to go. I lied. It's this. Like, this game was madness 4-3. Like all day long, it was just one more. And I said this before the Leeds game. These exact quotes, go to the preview.
Yeah.
Go during to the match highlights. I said it on this channel, I think. I said, don't sleep on Leeds. They will give a lot of the bigger teams nosebleeds this season, and I believe they will get mid-table. Now, my variation of mid-table was not 9th. Mine was like 14th. That was my mid-table. You know what I mean? But they ended up getting 9th. And they've just, they've done exactly that. They just gave team nosebleeds. They played exciting football, and I have so much admiration for Leeds because I don't see this being necessarily another Sheffield United. You know, Sheffield United who came straight up and then went right back down after a very, very good season. I don't see that happening with Leeds. I feel like the way they play with this manager, with these set of players, I feel like they're always going to be destined to at least be fighting for Europe based on it's just an awkward style of play, bro. No one likes it.
And we definitely got a few nosebleeds from them this season, 4 points in total. But then the second game of the season, again, was a great game. A 2-0 win away at Chelsea. I think that was 2 wins in a row now at the Bridge, which is good for Liverpool.
That's his best game all year, that.
Yeah, I mean, this is your boy, isn't it? He scored 2 goals in this game.
Yeah, that was kind of, I don't know, because I believe, and I might be wrong here, he got COVID not too long after this game.
Yeah, you're not wrong, bro.
I believe he even got it just before the Arsenal game, and that was where something shit. I'm not saying that was the reason, by the way, but I'm just saying something, and it was something that just shifted in Mane, and I don't know, it's just like, now to see him, not back in form, but the last game he was good. It's mad looking back at this photo because that was actually maybe the last game where we said Mane was the best in the world. You know what I mean? Like, there was no other games that could say that.
Probably. And then it went on into the League Cup, a great start in this, 7-2 away winners. you can see in the picture, I think Shaq scored on the night. I think Grujic scored. I think Minamino got a 2. I think Origi got a couple as well, maybe. And then you're thinking, actually, well, maybe Klopp is wanting to win the League Cup and a domestic cup. Yeah. And we'll skip past this one and go straight to this game, which was at home against Arsenal. Again, we played them twice in the same month. I'm just got a lot of pictures to flick through here, bro, so just bear with me. But I'm sure I'll find it in just a second.
Alex just became extra prepared today, people, you see, so it takes a little bit of time. In the meantime, I'm gonna poke my head out from the side. Yeah, in the meantime, make sure you smash it it's like I'm poking my head out of a window. Make sure you smash it, like and subscribe. You know what I mean? When your mind's telling you to get in.
You coming in for dinner there?
You better get in for dinner. Hey, Alex, are you coming in, brother?
I am sure good.
Yeah,
just body Ansley. So 3-1 home winners to Arsenal. Robertson scored in the game. He made an awful mistake in this game, which gave Lacazette a goal at the Kop end. But 3-1 winners, and then again, approaching into October when we play this game again at Arsenal. At Anfield at home. We lose this again to Arsenal on penalties and crash out of the League Cup. This was disappointing, James.
Well, mate, 100%. Well, what did you mention before? We wanted to see if we could maybe make a big push for the League Cup or the FA Cup. And I believe that is something Liverpool wanted to do, but we just failed at. And, people saying that Jurgen Klopp doesn't want to take them competitions seriously. I actually don't think that's true. I believe he does want to take it seriously. It's just sometimes he actually hasn't done a good job at doing so. Not trying to slate Jurgen Klopp in any way, shape or form. That's just the facts of it. And Arsenal had our number that day. And it's always when we come up against a team like a Tottenham or an Arsenal or a Manchester United is where we really do tend to struggle in them competitions, because it's like once we get to our squad depth, that's where we struggle. So I think next year, it's all the more of a reason to go out and buy big players if you're FSG, or if you're Jurgen Klopp, you say to FSG, no, I want a bigger squad, because people talk about how he notoriously doesn't want that. I feel like that was the game, along with Manchester United, which we'll get onto, which teaches us we might need that.
Yeah, love that. Right, this one was a very humbling experience, my bro. 7-2 at Aston Villa. And I think this game, probably, listen, we never want to watch the full 90 minutes again, but I have watched the highlights recently, and yes, we lost 7-2, bro. Yes, we lost 7-2.
You are a brave man.
I think they had 5 deflected goals in that game, bro.
I said
I'm sorry, you can't defend deflected goals, bro.
No, I said this while I was watching the game. Like, I don't think people will understand. Like, I was so confident in saying after the match that will never happen again, at least in my lifetime, because that game was so freaky. Like, I'm surprised the goalkeeper never scored. I'm surprised Martinez never got a goal, because it was so weird. Yeah. Like, all that game needed was the wind. Like, it was just one of them games, bro. Like, their players, everything they were hitting, it was turning to go. Ross Barkley,
on his debut. Yeah.
That was his debut, and that was his best game ever for Villa. He was crap after that. He never ended up being a good signing. Ask any Villa fan. So,
right, let's move on from this game.
Adrian, it goes to show with Adrian in goal as well, because he made a couple of mistakes outside of the deflections. Mate, that game was just set up for a disaster. A bit of a sad day.
Sad day, but the sadness, really. I was laughing by the end of that game, but then it turned to pure anger in this game, bro. And I don't want to touch on it too much. We all know your thoughts and my thoughts on Jordan Pickford and how he, almost snapped Van Dijk's leg out for the season. Thiago was out for 3 months after this. It's an absolute disgrace, this game, and I don't think I'll ever be able to get over it, to be honest, bro.
Without that game actually being played, we could get second place or possibly even first.
Literally. 2-2 it was.
People can laugh at that statement all they want. Listen, I really, really don't care. Like, I know people like to say about how we conceded 4 goals against Leeds with Van Dijk, and we conceded 7 against Aston Villa with Van Dijk, but just mate, when you miss the presence of him and also your new signing in Thiago, it's going to be a big one. That was a horrible game, man. Actually, there's a lot of ways that was worse than Aston Villa 7-2.
Yeah, I actually think it was a lot harder to take than the Villa one. And the referee, and obviously David Coote, being a Manchester United fan, was on VAR that day. How he didn't give a red card to 2 players for them, and how we didn't score in the last minute. Obviously, you went viral after this game, didn't you, bro? when
Yeah.
Henderson scored. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the next game, which was better for Liverpool. A big away win in the Champions League. I think it was an own goal in this game, but as you can see there, Ginny battling away in his home country. So sad to see him leave now and go into Barcelona. But listen, we started off in the Champions League really, really well, bro. We couldn't have done a better start.
Listen, I believe in the group. Wait, there. What was our record in the group stages? If you
I
remember,
think
Alex, I don't want to put you on the spot.
1-4, draw 1, lost 1.
That's very impressive then,
13
because usually,
points, yeah.
I believe it was either the year before or the year before that where we never even. It was the Napoli one, the year with Napoli.
Yeah,
We've
that
had
was
Napoli
that
a few times where we nearly got knocked out of the group stage, and it was good to see in a season where, in hindsight, we've struggled. We got through that group stage with ease, mate, and Ajax, who were very, very good, obviously, with a little bit of momentum. Per Shares, another player that has a lot of heat behind him. It's a tough game, always a tough game to play them. We done well, man. So it's good to see we got out of that group stage so easy.
Next game in the Premier League after this one, bro, was a home win against Sheffield United. A nervy one. I think Jota scored in maybe the 78th minute or something like that to mark his... I think this was 3 in a row for him in the league at home. Great start for him. And then this one was even more impressive, I think, if you consider the amount of injuries that we actually had in this game. Jota, the hero again, at home to West Ham, another 2-1 win, bro. That was a brilliant result for Liverpool, and I think Nat Phillips was man of the match in this game.
I actually, that's the game that I remember specifically for Nat Phillips. That was the birth of Nathaniel Deeney Van Phillips, Alex, as you can see right there. That's even though he's not in there, you can see his head in the top right corner because it's always all over the pitch. But no, listen, lads, that was a game where 3-1. That was one of the more convincing wins we've had in a while, I believe. Good performance against West Ham. Both times we played West Ham, we've done very well. And again, it was the birth of a man like Nat.
Absolutely. And then it was this one at home. You can see Reece Williams in there. 2-0 win at home to Midtjylland in the Champions League. 3 out of 3 there. And then there was a very impressive win, bro, which arguably is one of our best of the season, to be honest. Maybe this is the highlight of the season in terms of, the goals and clean sheet away in the Champions League. An incredible start, 5-0 away to Atalanta, bro, who finished strong.
No joke. Atalanta no joke as well, so that was an even better win in hindsight.
Yeah, and then of course after this, things started to go downhill a bit. If you remember, bro, I was actually out in Tenerife when this game happened. I wasn't around. Let's find it now for you. There's a lot of pictures to get through here, guys, so you will have to bear with me. But it was this one. It was 1-1 away to Manchester City, which isn't the worst result. And we could have done better in this game. We could have done worse, but maybe looking back, James, this was actually a decent result in the grand scheme.
Was this when Trent got injured?
I think this was the game Trent got injured against City. We scored a penalty, I think.
Yeah, we never played. We never played the greatest. It was kind of a boring game. To be honest with you, I didn't know what this game meant at the time. I knew it never had any heavy significance on the league. Like, for example, I don't think if City won this game, that was the game that won them the league. Whereas in previous years, that's pretty much what this game has always been. If you lose to City, you're very likely that you're going to lose the league at the end of the season, especially when you're Liverpool, because they're always the other team that we're competing with. So that was always an interesting one, but turns out to be very, very boring.
The next one, we thought we were maybe on the trail back to the top, but after this, it definitely all went downhill. This was a 3-0 home win against Leicester. As you can see here, Firmino scoring there is that Curtis Jones in the background, looking very chilled indeed. And then we went back to the Champions League, and then we lost 2-0 at home to Atalanta. I remember being in Spain watching this one, bro, and to actually see us lose a game in the Champions League was a bit of a shock.
No, that's mad. Like absolutely mad. And it's just the Champions League. Is that Nico there? Who's that?
That's Costas.
Oh, that's Costas. Right, probably the only pitch you can get on the whole season. But the amount he's played. To be honest with you, lads, I don't want to try and jump into too much this season, but looking back at games like this, it makes me so glad to be in the Champions League again, because it really does remind you that these are the type of games that you live for as a football fan. These Champions League fixtures, and that's what you want to be a part of at the end of the day. So to see these type of photos and to see, no, we are still a Champions League team next year. It's a great thing, man.
And then this one was super frustrating to watch. I remember we had a penalty given against us very, very early on in this one, which I'm just trying to find now. But it was the Brighton away. And it was this game. And this picture, I think, was when Salah went through and scored, and it was disallowed for offside. And then obviously we gave away a penalty in the 94th minute. Jota scored for us, but this was really the start of a downward spiral. But then in the Champions League, we were still not doing too badly at all. As we move in now to early December, this game happened at Anfield in the Champions League. Curtis Jones scoring, James, in a 1-0 win, which pretty much secured us a round of 16.
Yeah, mate, Curtis Jones, this was where he really started to get a few more games as well, weren't it, for Curtis Jones? So that's actually one positive you can take out of that bad period, is that it allowed someone like a Curtis Jones to really start to flourish. And for that game, for example, that was one example of where he was able to perform really, really well. Was that where Nico assisted him?
It was long ball over the keeper.
Yeah, beautiful day, mate.
That
goal right there in itself was what, you know, we talk about some of the best goals this season. I'm sure on emotion that was one of my favourite goals. I can't remember how I reacted, but I'm absolutely sure it was one of my favourite goals, just with the players who scored it.
Yeah, man. Moving on, we thought things were looking good again. 4-0 at home to Wolves. Like, we really, really came out of the traps in this game. And those 2,000 fans there.
Mate, was it 2 or 4?
It's 4-0 this one. Did I say 2, bro?
No. It was 4-0. You said 4-0. I'm asking, was it 2,000 fans or 4,000 fans?
I think it was 2,000. I remember being outside the ground after.
Yeah, I always get confused.
Kop, and I think it was 2. But then, of course, Tottenham, I think you might have had a bit more. But so that was obviously a fantastic game. I remember a great goal from Gini Wijnaldum there. And
at that point, I think that was
at this point, we're still near the top of the league at this point.
I think we're slowly touching top of the league. A few more games, I think we do get top of the league. Because I know we did get, at some point in December, we was first position.
Yeah. As we approached Christmas, we were in first. And then after that one, we went back into the Champions League. 1-1 draw away at Midtjylland, and then you're thinking, right, let's get back to the Premier League and really kick on. And then it was another 1-1 draw away to Fulham. If you remember, bro, Henderson and Fabinho centre-backs for this game. Awful.
Absolutely. To be honest, it's mad. You know, I can't remember this game for some bizarre reason. But maybe
it wasn't
that's
the best game, bro.
Yeah, maybe that's a good thing that I can't remember it. You know what I mean?
It's pretty awful. And then this one really, really put us back on the top of the league. I thought this was a season-defining 3 points for a completely different reason to what it was. I thought we were going to kick on to go and win the league from this, or we were going to kick on and be in a title challenge at least, because Tottenham were looking serious at that point as well. Yeah, and then you go to the next game and you think, wow, 7-0 away at Crystal Palace. Every single shot went in. And at this point we're still top at Christmas, bro. We go into Christmas at top.
This is where we exerted all of our mojo from here. It was this game. I wish we never scored 7. I actually wish we never, because I bet you any time we would have scored more in the other games.
Yeah, I'm just probably didn't spread them out too nicely.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then this is where things really started, bro, to go downhill. 1-1 at home to West Brom. They scored in the 90th minute, I think. Big Sam came to set his team up and really just defend for the whole night. I know I've said it in this video, but this really was the start of, you know, a momentous downhill shift, especially at home. This really was a bad point.
It felt that teams watched that game and just knew how to play against us from this game. Sit back, counter them with long balls, try and get the ball into the box, and we'll try and utilise the centre-backs that they don't have. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it turns out to be. Obviously, the games that you're going to bring up in a second, Burnley's coming up soon from my imagination and stuff like that. So it's just, that was the blueprint in many, many ways. And you can love or hate Big Sam Allardyce, but he got the number on us over this season. Even the latest game, if it weren't for the trump card that was Alisson Becker, you know, he gets another point. So
yeah, Mitchell makes a great point. This goal was coming the whole game. Yeah, big up, Mitch. He couldn't get the second goal. We all knew this was going to happen. And then you go into this game.
No, do you want me to tell you what happened in that Sorry, Alex, just dead quick. What happens in that West Brom game is Matip got injured. That's what happened. He got injured and then we conceded.
Yeah, and then that was just, again, this was a period where all of our centre-backs were dropping like flies.
Yeah.
That Phillips there, you can see, clean sheet away at Newcastle. We should have really won this game. 0-0 in the end it was. 2 draws this season to Newcastle. A bit of a bore fest. And then this one, another loss in the Premier League. Danny Ings scored the winning goal for Southampton after
when
2 minutes, I think.
cried like he won the World Cup.
And Hasenhüttl cried on his knees, like he just won Pop Idol or something like that. So scenes really, and then
just
a little bit embarrassing.
Only a little bit.
Lie to you. And then we went.
Anfield either.
It wasn't. This was at St Mary's, but the ball over the top. This was the period, James, where we kept getting done in that channel between the right centre back and Trent, and that's exactly what happened in this game.
Yeah, mate, that was a problem for weeks and weeks as well.
Let's find you the next one. This was a bit more positive now at Villa Park. It was, of course, the FA Cup where we did well, to be honest.
Oh, Minamino got absolutely bodied in this game. This was the game where I realised Minamino's not going to have a Liverpool career, if I have any say about it. You know what I mean, mate? Like getting bodied by 17-year-olds when you're playing Premier League football, it just doesn't give the best of sort of hope. And you know what, mate? Even though it was the Aston Villa kids, out of all of the youth teams we could have played, that was the hardest. I'm not trying to give us extra credit for beating 17-year-olds, but like Aston Villa are a very good fucking youth team, man. Louis Barry doing bits. They've got many other players that don't spring to mind, I'm not going to lie, but still, he's not like the only talent that they possess. They're winning trophy. They've just beat us, actually, in the Youth FA Cup, I think, or something like that. They beat us 2-1. So I think that was always going to be, not especially in the first half, while they weren't as fit as us, I think that was always going to be a very tough game when you're playing youngsters like that who really want to go for it and they want to prove a point. I feel like that's in some ways more dangerous. And it was such a weird week because Villa players obviously couldn't play in that game, could they, because of everything that was going on. And then that got announced and people were saying, well, what happens? Do Liverpool just still get to play, or do we do this, or what goes on from this position? But then Jürgen, and then even when it got to the match day, what's Jürgen going to do? Is he going to go strong? Is he going to go weak? And it was just one of them things. I feel a sneeze, by the way, coming, Alex, but I don't know if it's like it's one of them ones. Nah, it's one of them ones. Like
look at the light and it will come out. Look at the light and it will come out of it.
Nah, it's gone now, but it just felt like it was approaching the nose.
I only, to be fair, that was the only one I didn't have a picture for, that Villa FA Cup game. But then it was this game at Anfield on my birthday, a 0-0 at home to Manchester United, which really was disappointing, especially on your birthday, as it always is. But then, James, as you said, this one was coming up. And I think that is actually Alisson in the box for a corner, trying to get a goal for us in the last minute, which he actually did later on in the season. But we lost this one at home to Burnley. And again, a real bad run of form followed this, bro. Well, actually, no, it wasn't too bad, actually, looking at the scores now. But lost that one at home. And then it was this one, which, again, in the FA Cup showed that we don't like playing the big teams in the FA Cup. We lost this one 3-2. Bruno Fernandes free kick in the last minute. Salah did get 2 in this game, which meant that, he scored, I think it was 3 in total at Old Trafford this season in all comps, which was great. But crashing out of the FA Cup is never fun, really. But then we had a game, bro, that really brightened things back up again. You remember this one at Tottenham? 3-1 we won this.
Yep, no, 100%. This was a game where I knew we'd won it because Tottenham were really bad. I even said that after the game. I don't think Tottenham were the greatest, but still, it was just good to get 3 points. And obviously, we don't know. Hindsight's a beautiful thing, but at that time, we didn't know what was going to happen. So it was good to get 3 points and hope at that time to build a little bit of momentum.
And then we did build some momentum because then away again in London, we beat West Ham 3-1. And then you're thinking, wow, you remember that Salah goal from this game, this one in particular, but then the counter-attack one where Shaqiri plays that big ball over the top and Salah finishes it with his right foot. So you're thinking we're on to a winner in the capital again.
No, defo. Well, actually, London, this was when it was starting to be talked about, as we were just getting points from every London side that there is. So it's good to see that against the West Ham team that has been the best that they have been in years, we took 6 points off them. Right. At that point, we're doing very well.
And Arsenal in the end. Liverpool-Brighton, this one was another home defeat, bro. I mean, Brighton have never won at Anfield before this, and it was almost as if like every team that came were winning games that they'd never won before at Anfield, and this was no exception. A horrible, horrible defeat, this one at home.
Charity FC, Alex. Charity FC.
Yeah.
That's what we became.
Yeah.
We just thought, you know what? Like, teams like Brighton, we're not going to make the relegation zone interesting. We're just going to give you points. And that's the way we done it. We just decided to give them points, and it was just one of them things where your name could have been Brighton, Burnley, Fulham, Sheffield United, but that was a much harder game than any Barcelona, Real Madrid, or Juventus you could throw my way.
Absolutely. Now, I know I've said it loads of times, but this really is the bad patch in the season. We lose 4-1 at home to Man City, 2 Alisson blunders. I mean, it was 1-1 in this game until 75th minute. So, we just absolutely lost our heads. You can see Thiago there, Wijnaldum, Salah.
That was when Thiago was playing terrible as well.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't having the best time, Thiago. And this was, again, their first win at Anfield since 2003. This was horrible. I hated this game. And then I also hated this game. Klopp recently has come out and said that he has never lost a game in this fashion before. Obviously, we went 1-0 up, and then again, it was 1-0, and we threw it away with another Alisson. Huge, huge mistake, bro. This was horrible.
No, that was a disgusting day as well. To be honest with you, it's bringing me back. It's bringing me
Literally.
back to all these losses that we were just suffering with on a week-to-week basis. And like, it was even the fact we started losing to Man City and Leicester. We can't even get points against the bigger teams. And then you just worried about the next game against whoever it would have been, frigging Crystal Palace or something. Nah, it wouldn't have been Crystal Palace. They were last game of the season. But you know what I mean? You know the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah, well, back in the Champions League after this, we were in the round of 16 against Leipzig. We won 2-0 away, which set us up beautifully for the second leg. I'm trying to remember who scored in this game. I think Salah scored one, and Mane might have scored as well, I think. Do you know this one?
It was 2 mistakes. I know it was here.
That was it. Yeah, it was.
I know it weren't 2 great work and play goals.
Yeah, listen, good win nonetheless. And then this one happened. I was on, obviously, Don Robbie's stream with Speedo Mick, where he was getting his arse out in my face when they went 2-0 up.
Yep.
Bro,
one of the bigger moments of the season.
Yeah, I mean, this was, again, 23 years since they'd won at Anfield, and they come and win 2-0.
I mean, listen, I just think it's more embarrassing. We gifted them 4 points. They took our best centre-back and signing the season, and they still finished 10th, and we finished 3rd. I think it's hilarious. I'm not going to lie to you. And also, I just think you've never done it in front of your fans, at least in recent years. Like, you're still not really that good. Get on this, Alex. Everton, all season, their lowest position was 9th. Bearing in mind they were the champions in September, but their lowest position was 9th. Yeah. They finished 10th.
That's mental that they finished 10th.
Only Everton could do that. Only Everton, all season, with Carlo Ancelotti, billionaire owners, could go ahead and finish fucking lower than what you've been all season.
It's like Leicester spending 72 weeks in the top 4, but finishing outside of it for the last 2 seasons. Yeah, Everton.
The difference, though,
is I actually think
Everton should be where Leicester are. I think that's where Everton should be. I'm not saying they've got like an overall better starting 11, but the way they bang on about some of their players, they actually should be. I've heard this Andre Gomez is supposed to be one of the more silkier midfielders in the league. Literally, he's right there. He's a former Barcelona player. Richarlison, 50 million from Watford. You've got Lucas Digne. I've heard by near enough every Everton fan. He's better than Robertson. So I just want to know if you've got the best left-back in the world, because that's what Digne will be if he is to be better than Robertson. Let's be real with ourselves. So you've got the best left-back in the world. You've got a striker. You've actually got a decent striker who scores goals, fits your system. You've got Richarlison, who's one of the better wingers in the league, apparently better than Bobby Firmino. You've got Pickford, who, listen, even though there's Everton fans, and again, this isn't me saying all this, by the way. This is Everton fans that I know. Jordan Pickford, even when out of form, apparently he's still the best English goalkeeper. He's not even the best English goalkeeper. Sam Johnston from West Brom should start in the Euros above Jordan Pickford. Do you get what I'm saying, bro? It's one of them things where, like, they're not that special. You can take 3 points off us at Anfield. You're just not that special. It's not your thing. Winning trophies is not your thing.
True. I can't deny that. 1995, their last trophy, as we all know. Let's move on to this one. A 2-0 win away at Sheffield United, which completed the double over the Blades this season. They obviously went down. Firmino scored in this one. And then you're thinking, right, that's a big away win. Can we capitalise on this? And then we go and lose at home to Chelsea. Again, no wins at Anfield for probably 6 years for Chelsea either. And Mason Mount scores the only goal of the game, James.
That was Thomas Tuchel was in charge at that point, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he just come in, yeah.
that was really a sign of how dominant he was going to end up being for me when it came to Thomas Tuchel. I just felt like that was the game. We realised Chelsea are the hardest team to beat in the league. You know, whether they're the best team in the league isn't the thing that I'm saying. I'm saying they are the hardest team to beat in the league, and that's because of their manager. They deserve to win that day. We had nothing for them.
Yeah, we just absolutely gave nothing that day. And then another home game. Sorry, this game was actually next in the Champions League. And, you know, when you're playing this badly at home in domestic competition, then you go away and still perform well, like we did here at home to Leipzig. We beat them 2-0 again. You're thinking, right, again, another opportunity to really capitalise on some good form, a bit of momentum. And then this happens. An awful game, another awful game at home to Fulham. Again, another side that haven't won at Anfield, I don't think ever, bro. In the Premier League. We lose 1-0. Fuck.
That's a nightmare. And in hindsight, obviously, it's worse with them being a relegated team.
It absolutely is. And I think when you lose this many games at home and still finish third, I mean, I still, to this day, can't get my head around how we managed to finish third. It just doesn't compute in my mind. Doesn't make sense. No, doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Let's get on to the next game. And again, I know I've said this a lot, but this was another game where you're looking at it and thinking, that's a big win. I actually don't have a picture of it, but it was the Wolves away win. 1-0, Jota scored. I think that was his 12th of the season, maybe against his old team. I remember being on the stream for that one, and that was my first win doing a watch along. And
was it that being around the time? Was it that being around the time he came back from injury, like this period right now?
Yes, so March 15th this was. So he would have been back, but then he went out again. But yeah.
No, that was
big win.
Diogo Jota. He was the thing. Even though he didn't end up being the thing that saved us, he was the thing I feel like us Liverpool fans were clinging on for with dear life to please Diogo Jota. Save us, make us boss again. Because, lads, it was just heavy. All of our players just hit. You know what I mean? Like, everyone went shit. So it's just, we need someone, even if it is a new signing from Wolves who we didn't expect to be boss, we need you to turn up. And Diogo Jota, when he played, turned up. It was just a shame that he had that injury. Otherwise, I think this signing of the season debate, it wouldn't be a debate. You know, him or Ruben Diaz, no doubt.
Yeah, great point there from Mitchell. It has to be mental. All them losses at home just shows you what momentum can do. Speaking of momentum, James just mentioned Jota scored the winner there at Wolves. He also scored 2 here away at the Emirates. Again, another big win in the capital, James, in here. And you're thinking, great win this.
To be honest, I don't think I did think it was a great win.
Really?
Arsenal was so inconsistent. I just don't look at beating them the same way you should beat Arsenal. So it's a good win. Any win is a good win. Do you know what I mean? But my great wins are the ones where there's something on the line and there's a lot to play for. In hindsight, of course, there was a lot to play for. We needed these 3 points. But at that moment, it was like, we need to win the game. We need to get back into form. But Arsenal themselves were also just a sack of shite, really.
Basically.
So you better get them 3 points.
Speaking of a sack of shite, some awful mistakes in this one in the Champions League away at the Alfredo Di Stefano training stadium, which was super weird. And maybe, James, the fact that they knew how to play on that pitch, they train on it every day, that was definitely an advantage. But then you can't deny we made some massive errors. Alisson should have saved, and Trent with a bad back pass as well here.
Yeah, I don't ever look at like training thingios. I just believe if you can kick a football, you can kick a football. And that day we could not kick a football, Alex, and especially Trent. He was the one he caused me an issue that day. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, that was the worst clip of the season right there. I was literally talking about how the man is gonna get back.
Oh God, I remember it. How
he's gonna rectify. And it turns out that I actually might be right, but in that moment, really, literally a second later, he makes the mistake that leads to their goal. And
that's called? That's called the commentator's curse, mate.
Commentator's curse.
That's what it is. You're going, I remember that clip. It was brilliant. Yeah, Trent's back. Oh my God, Trent. What the fuck have you just...
It was when I realised it was Trent I was like, wait there. I thought it might have been Curtis Jones, and he just sort of, you know what I mean, lad? Like, because they both got the curly hair. So I was just like,
Both got the curly hair.
Please be Curtis. And then he gets up on a C66, and I'm just like, oh, that's a bit of a heavy one, mate. That was crap, and I hated that game. That was worse than any of them home losses against Brighton, Burnley, whoever. And let me tell you why. That's a Champions League quarter-final against Real Madrid, and none of them players turned up that day. No one. And that, in hindsight, is what actually could have took the trophy off us, that game right there. Well, it is. But I'm saying the trophy, but that was definitely the game that got us knocked out.
I'm a bit of I look at this game in a different way. I think we gave them 2 goals in that game, the Asensio goal and the back pass goal, right? We gave them 2 goals.
Yeah.
Take away those goals, 0-0 in the second leg, which we should have won 4-0, in my opinion. And it was 1-0 in the first leg if you take away those goals. We go through. If we don't make those mistakes, those 2 mistakes, we're through, bro. Because we got the away goal.
But we were playing crap as well, though, Alex. Like, the midfield was terrible. We never looked like we were going to score. You go there and you score. It was the worst performance I saw that midfield play since Aston Villa. Because he didn't deserve to. He was crap as well. He was always... Don't get me wrong, he should have played that game. And I remember saying, actually, before that kick-off, this might have been a more suited game for Thiago. But even in hindsight as well, the same midfield that started that game was the same midfield that started against Aston Villa. So just never start that midfield. Which
was the next game here, as you can see at the back there. I mean, Milner and Kabak started that one. Ollie Watkins, I kind of knew he was going to score in this game. The commentators before were saying any chance he gets, he'll put it away. And he did. 2-1 though. Unbelievable finish from Trent in the last minute, bro.
Actually, I remember the Trent finish. That was actually a very good finish. And turns out, when you think about goals like that, that was one of our only last-minute goals of the season. So fair play to Trent for getting what, in hindsight, is certainly a very much needed 3 points.
Yeah, unbelievable finish from Trent there, and it definitely shut a few people up. And then you go back into the Champions League and play Real Madrid at home. And if you remember, James, Salah had a chance, maybe 2 minutes in, that he bottled, and Salah never bottles them kind of chances. It was an open one for him, but we genuinely should have won this 3 or 4-0. Genuinely. Unbelievable.
We were the much better team on the day. We played them off the park. It was just too late. You'd entered the party too late. That's all it was. You know what I mean? Other than that, I could not be more proud of that performance that day, other than the fact that we never took our chances. But it was all sucked out from that first leg performance, I feel.
Yeah, and I think Thiago definitely should have started in this one, but hey ho.
I'd say as well, for a lot of us Liverpool fans, this was the game, the Real Madrid game, that the season ended for us. We didn't look like we were gonna get top 4. That was our only hope of silverware, and over the past few years we got used to clinging on to silverware. And I don't know, that was just a sad day overall, I think.
Yeah, Joe reminds us 50 seconds in, there was a massive Salah chance. And Real Madrid, I'm not going to lie, they were absolutely rattled, bro. They were. I don't care what anyone says. And like I said, we should have smashed them in this game 4-0. But hey-ho, this one was a very frustrating one. We were 1-0 up. I think Mane broke his scoring duck of maybe 10 games to put us 1-0 up. And then as you can see, is it Diego Llorente? Or is that his name?
He's something like that.
He scored a last-minute header to give them a 1-1 draw, which really frustrated us. But then again, we just didn't learn anything from that game. This was exactly the same thing.
This was where top 4 was gone for me.
Yeah, top 4 was gone after this.
It weren't even in the question. If you're not going to be beating Newcastle, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. And this was the second draw in a row. We've been knocked out of the Champions League. You don't deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Willock scored in this one. You could see all the celebrations from them. It was a good result for them, but awful for us. And yeah, I think after this game, I remember doing the fan cams. I remember Darren saying, "That's it, finished. This is totally over now." And that's Darren who's Mr. Positive.
I've been saying this for a few months. People thought I was saying it for views. Genuinely, I was just giving no reason. What I saw in our foreseeable future was a bunch more injuries and a bunch more games like this. And I was actually right. It was just everyone else dropped points as well. But when Darren is jumping on that train, that's when you know there's a problem. That's when you know there's... Because he's always got a smile on his face.
When he says, "Listen, lads, it's over," it's over.
And that's when you've got to cry.
But it
You know, when
wasn't, of
Darren's got to
course.
sit you down and tell you some bad news, that's when you really, really should cry, because that's a sad day.
That is a sad day. And then things started picking up again. Thiago scored a great goal at the Kop end, his first one for Liverpool. And then after this, you were thinking, well, this is too little too late. It's a nice little win. But in the grand scheme of things, James, this win shouldn't have meant anything. But if you actually look at it, it was huge.
Oh, no doubt. Listen, it's all about momentum. And I said around this time, even after the Newcastle game, I said, right, we can't null and void this season. That's not an option. Even though I'd love to, we just simply can't do that. That being said, the one thing we can do is make the most of the shit position that we're in. We can make the most of the fact we've bottled top four, at least what I thought at that time. Let's make the most. Let's look at Leicester, for an example, when they nearly got relegated, made that great run at the end of the season, and then came back into the next year with just a great bit of confidence because they built that run, they built a winning streak together. And I just said, if Liverpool can exit this season just winning all the rest of their games, I will then be less angry at the efforts of this season, because even though we turned up late to the party, we still actually entered. We still got what we needed to do done. And even though we weren't perfect, I still think Europa League 5th would have been a good achievement. Not that I would have liked it. I would have been devastated. But what I mean by a good achievement is, I think with all the factors and all the circumstances, 5th wouldn't have actually been that bad. Do you know what I mean? Especially after that Newcastle game. I know it sounds mad. I wouldn't have been happy like the way I am for 3rd, because 3rd and 4th gets us Champions League. But that actually wouldn't have been too bad in my opinion overall. So it's good to see we did do that. We built that momentum, and hopefully that just means nothing but goodness for next season.
Well, that was the first game out of the last 5 that we won, so that definitely was the catalyst for this game, which we won 4-2. To be fair, not the best picture of their goal. Should have been Salah, this picture. But unbelievable this was, James. Considering we'd not won there since 2014, this was the game. I mean, listen, we can say that for the next 3, but what a big moment this was.
Huge. It was the biggest game of the season to that point. Manchester United, away from home. We need to win that game because our top 4 hopes rely on it. I believe also a thing that went in our favour at this point, and the only reason we were really still in top 4 is that we had games in hand. This was our game in hand over other teams, and them teams had massive games to play. They had big fixtures, and we didn't. This was our last huge game of the season against a very tough side. So to see us get the 3 points in that one and dominate the game the way we did, it was just lovely to see, man, because that was the last game I feel United fans were on their high horse to chat and shit to us. Because that was obviously, they were in the Europa League final. They had that confidence from there. But we killed them. I feel like that was the game where we really just did. They had Leicester 2 days before as well, so we really had to go ahead and they rested all their players. Yeah. So it was good to see. And
to actually see us score 4 goals there, which again we haven't done maybe since 2009, that famous Torres one. But to actually score 4 goals was some achievement. And I think when you actually look at the goals as well, they weren't tap-ins. These were good goals.
Good team play. Very good team play.
Let's go on to the next one then, which, as we all know by now, is just going to go down in history, bro.
Goal of the season now.
Unbelievable. Goal of the season, moment of the season. Just run me through what went through your head when this goal went in.
Blank. And that's not me trying to give you a boring answer, Alex. That moment was that emotional. There's too many things going on in your head to even nail it to one. You know what I mean? Once it died down a little bit, it was getting me mum. I didn't want to share this moment without anyone, do you know what I mean? So I started screaming for me mother. But at first, it was when he went down on his knees and done that. That was when I started to go. That was when I started getting tears in my eyes and everything. And I was like, I'm not going to cry on stream, but fucking hell, I'm very, very close to doing so. Because you forget that you're live for a moment and you forget you're interacting with loads and loads of people. That is just that's what I love football for. Them moments right there, when people have to overcome so much adversity, like Alisson's had to overcome, and just basically come out as a champion after what has been a poor season for him. But there's factors that come into it to end it the way you did. Just brilliant, man. brilliant. You know what I mean? That was his moment, and that will forever be his moment.
Get goosebumps talking about it. I think when he does that and points to the sky, and then Firmino gets on him and Thiago,
It was Salah that was surprised me the most. It was Salah.
Bro.
There's a picture of Salah when
his face
he scored against Manchester United. I think it was last season in the last minute, and he ran up. Oh no, the season before, whenever it was. He ran up last minute and he celebrated with the fans with his top off. Alisson got the assist. He ran over first before anyone. Alisson was the first one to run over. And then this game as well, even before Bobby, before Fabinho, before anyone, Salah was the first one there screaming with so much passion. It was such a good thing to see.
And when you can see Alisson running back to the goal, you know that's the last touch of the game. But you can actually see him, you know, it's almost as if the moment hits him and he realises what he's done and he just says, "This is for you, Dad," you know. And then John Achtenberg came on after and, you know, said what he said, which you just can't plan for, you can't write, but the emotion was there. There was tears everywhere. And this, I firmly believe, this header from Alisson is the moment that we got the top four. If Alisson doesn't head this in, bro, and let's be honest, that's a 1 in a million chance. That chance came in for us, and I think this is the moment that gets us the top four. Because if we draw this game, we don't get it, man.
So many people have said, well, mathematically, with what happened from this point onwards, a point actually would have been enough for us to get top four. Do you want me to tell you why that doesn't take any value away from this goal? It's because there's a big thing in football. It's called momentum and it's called belief. That goal right there, you know, Liverpool Football Club, you know, we're not emotion merchants, but even if we are emotion merchants, then fucking hell, we've done very successful on being emotion merchants because we've built our whole club on not giving up. That's what it's always been. Always in it till last kick of the game. It doesn't matter if it's your goalkeeper who's coming up for the corner. It just can't happen. It's actually more of a disgrace for us for believing that weren't going to be the case. Because even me before the corner, I was like, it doesn't matter if Alisson's coming up. When do the goalkeepers ever get their head onto a corner? I'm sure he can. Head a ball, but it's just not one of them things. It was how good the goal was as well.
It was the rise, the neck twist, the finish. I mean, there will never. I'm pretty sure, bro. There will never be a moment where we see anything like that again, where pretty much the goalkeeper has got us in the Champions League. And let me just say this: listen, it's not been the best season for Alisson. It hasn't. We've seen him make some awful mistakes. You know, Leicester away, City at home, Real Madrid away. We've seen him have some awful moments, but then you have to rip your heart out and say, look, he's lost his father in the most horrific way possible. Couldn't go back and see him. But then you go, well, actually, this fella single-handedly won us 3 trophies with that save against Napoli in the Champions League, the Champions League Super Cup, World Club Cup. And now he's almost single-handedly got us in the Champions League. If we haven't already paid off this 75 million that we paid for him, I'm sorry, he's now completely priceless forever.
We could have bought him for 300 million. You could have bought him for 300.
You can't even put a price on 3 trophies and a 3rd place spot. That's what he's given us.
You could have bought him for 300 million and that would have been a good signing. I don't care, mate. Like, the second that news did break out about his father, what happened? He didn't go away for weeks. Like, he so easily, and I would have been absolutely fine if he did, if he just went and just had a few weeks off. You can't have a go at him. You can't say, oh, you're wrong for doing that. Because you're being knobhead, you know what I mean? You don't know what that situation's like unless you're actually in that situation. You don't know how close, you don't know how much of a best friend where he was in that order his dad was to him. So to see him come back to work just in itself is more than enough for me to say Alisson is the champion of the season in his own right.
Yeah, you can't deny that, bro. Beautifully said that. And then, of course, we win 3-0 away at Burnley. A hard-fought win. But after this one, then you're thinking, right, because let's face it, we lost to Burnley earlier on in the season. We've only lost 3 away games all season, which isn't too bad. 6 at home, obviously, 9 in total. But this one, I was so nervous before it, James. And I was thinking, please don't bottle this now, please.
Just asking as well, did we only lose 6 home games all season?
6 home games, 3 away games, yeah.
That's a fucking disgrace, as if they were all in a row. Nah, do you know what, lad? That Burnley game, like the Newcastle game was the one that confirmed we weren't going to get top four. This was the one where it near enough confirmed that we was. Like, before this game, I would say I was more 60-40. So 60% we're not going to get top four, 40%
Yeah,
we might.
me too.
Then we beat Burnley, and then that changed. It was like 60% we are, and then 40% we're not, because we still got to get a job done against Palace, and that's going to be a difficult game. But this was massive. 3-0 win as well. It was a good performance overall. We played, even though it took a little bit of a slow start in this game. Like, it took us a while to really build in. They had a few chances in the first half. We still was the better team, and it was just good to see us take our chances. And players like Trent, these type of games, you talk about these 5 wins, Trent was massive in all these games.
Massive. And Thiago, even the Ops came on and scored.
The players that haven't been stepping up have really been stepping up over these games.
Yeah, listen, we are on the final game now against Crystal Palace. We are going to have 5 minutes where we can take some questions. So get your questions into us now. And then this one, which has just happened, you can see us in the new kit there. I was obviously outside the ground for this one. And I tell you what, again, so nervous. Like, I was watching that in the church pub just outside just near the Sandon, and I was just so nervous, James. I've never been this nervous for a game. My hands were all sweaty. I did about 4 pisses in the first half. I only had 2 beers. That never happens to me. I was so nervous. But when the first one went in and you see Tottenham winning, Chelsea losing, you're thinking, this could be all right. But then it's when the second one goes in, that's when I was like, Champions League, you beauty.
Yeah, man, that's when I really started to let go of all of that tenseness. You know, does that make sense, Alex? Like, all that shitness of where you're feeling, like, just nervous. I can now enjoy this game. And, you know, you look at them players right there. This game was, I'll always remember this game for Genie's last game. Like, I'm glad we could give him the farewell that we couldn't give Gerrard, for example. You know, someone, and I'm not saying Genie's the same level as Gerrard in terms of a legend status, but he's there, man. You know, people can say what they want about him, but he's there.
I love
you know,
that. I love that, man.
He's a legend in his, like, you know, I've used that word for a lot of players, but, like, you know, players that win you a Champions League and a Premier League over the cup, and, you know, it was 2 or 3 fucking amazing seasons of football. It weren't just one Premier League and one Champions League. It was genuinely a team that could have won the league both years. It was a league winning team, both 97 and 99 points back to back. Champions League final and a Champions League back to back across 3 seasons is just, it shows mentality monster at a whole nother level in his season. Where, like, you know what's mad as well? I said this year, if we won a Champions League and got top 4, that would have been a better season than all the rest based on the circumstances. We never ended up winning the Champions League, so therefore it's absolutely not. But this season was supposed to be the worst of Klopp's career. It could be the worst of Klopp's career based on stress. But based on fight, it really made us, it allows us to see what we're made of for next year. And that's what I care about. That's what gets me excited, because no matter what changes, the only thing that doesn't change about Liverpool Football Club is this. It's the heart, mate. It's the one thing that won't go. No matter, you lose your best centre-back, lose your captain, who is unbelievable at the job at what he does. Henderson all season, you can see it in just the stats alone. We win games when he's on the pitch. People don't talk about Henderson being injured enough, by the way. You know, we talk about Van Dijk, we talk about the centre-backs. We don't talk about Henderson being injured enough. It's madness, the impact he has on our team. Get on this. Feel free to agree or disagree. If you said to me this season, who would you rather have injured for a full season out of either Virgil van Dijk or Jordan Henderson? But the one who stays fit stays fit all year. I'm going with Henderson. His impact is all the more massive. All the more massive.
Listen, bro, I'm actually the kind of person that is you in these arguments. I'm backing Henderson till the hills. I think, one, as a person, he can never do any wrong in my eyes, just because look at what he's done. He's on the Forbes giving list under Rashford. But as a player, you can't, unless you actually know your footy, or you're there every week and you hear and see his authority and his leadership on the pitch, then I would expect you to understand. But for those that do, especially Liverpool fans who watch him every week or when he's playing, we understand just how important he is whenever he steps on the pitch. Listen, we don't ever want him to play centre-back again, but when he's in centre midfield, I guarantee we win 9 out of 10 games. Like,
no doubt.
you
Top
know,
four
he's that
is
important.
secured. If he didn't get
Yeah.
injured that second time round this season, because he had one earlier on in the year as well, but if he didn't get injured that second time this season, if buts maybes, but I think we get top four way before
Easily,
we actually
yeah.
do. Way before we actually
Yeah.
do. I believe we win that Newcastle game because Henderson gets everyone to calm the fuck down. I believe we win most of them games away from home. Even though he played in some of them, it was at centre-back when we had depleted injuries in that 6-game home spell. And I know people can say excuses. Listen to the way that your players who go to the England call-up speak about Henderson. Listen to them. Why is Henderson in an England team when he's being injured?
Ask Harry Kane what he thinks about Jordan Henderson.
Ask Harry Maguire.
Rashford.
Harry Maguire,
ask,
and listen, Harry Maguire
exactly.
might not matter, but he's still a leader in this country. And even he says Henderson is a fucking example in the dressing room. This is a champion. He's the most successful English player. Let me give that to you.
Yeah.
Besides Sterling, maybe. Anyone who plays for Man City. But even still, Sterling, at least right now of talking, hasn't won a Champions League. Henderson captains us to a Champions League and a Premier League. That's the difference.
Jordan
That's
Henderson.
the difference, man.
Mitchell says you don't see everything he does on the telly with Hendo. Exactly. You have to almost be there and understand how he operates, and it's just so indispensable to Liverpool. Right, thanks for that, James, bro. It's been great to cut through the games with you. Let's answer a few questions. Mitchell says, do you think it will be fair if Origi slips out the back door and not have a send-off like Ginny? This is a great question. I just think he's given us a lot of memories that will live with us forever, and he deserves one. Yeah, I mean, maybe Origi doesn't get a chance to say goodbye, James.
That'd be a shame. It would be a shame. It wouldn't be the biggest crime that I've ever saw from Liverpool Football Club, though. I've saw other players leave where I felt like maybe they should have been given more of a send-off type of thing. Origi, he does deserve one. But I always feel, you know, every time he goes live on Instagram, there will be, you'll never walk alone, you'll never walk alone, you'll never walk alone. No matter where he goes.
Ever.
No matter where he goes. Ever.
Yeah.
So, I feel like that in itself will show Origi just how important, like just how much he means to us. And I believe he would have saw give Origi a chance. Give him more of it. Why isn't Origi playing? When he does play, at least, you know, he's our only striker. You know what I mean? Like, our only proper out-and-out striker. Why isn't he given more of a chance? I think he would have saw that. I don't think the majority of Liverpool fans call Origi shit. You know what I mean? I think we all rate him. And, like, we all say, like, we want the best for him. So I think he sees that and knows he's got that relationship. Regardless what the relationship he's got with the manager or the club itself, that's not really... It'd be a shame if it's not the strongest, but that's not what I care about. I care about the impact that you have with the fans based on what you've done. Yes, and he won us a Champions League, man.
Friggin' love that answer. That's the best way to describe him. Let's try and sum up his top 3 Liverpool moments.
Right. Well, I think 2 of them came very close together. Barcelona and Champions League final.
Yeah, number 3, I would say maybe that Dortmund goal. Or Everton. Yeah, I mean, he scored a few goals against Everton.
That season against Dortmund could have really changed the way. Like, we could have ended up building a team around Ivo Origi.
We could have.
If Younes Mori didn't injure him, he was in that good of form. And you talk about goal scorers. He was a goal scorer, man. I'm talking about him like he's already left. But the fact we haven't used him more than what we, you know, based on the season that we've had as well, where we're not scoring goals, we're not like on fire up front, and we're still not using him. There just must be something going on behind the scenes.
Do you remember we that game where we lost at home to Burnley? I think Origi had a great chance. Do you remember just before the first half?
He hit the bar or the post, but
yeah.
That was his first chance in months in an actual game. And even though he should have scored it, I just think, you know, let the man build a little bit of match sharpness, man. We all miss a big chance every once in a while. You know what I mean? It's the only chance he's got. If anything, it was good to get in that position.
Yeah, North Red says Origi versus Everton, Spurs will always be in our hearts, just as Shakvi and Manx will always hold a place in our hearts. We love you forever. That's the thing with Liverpool, and you've seen it with every player that leaves. And listen, unless you're El Hadji Diouf, every player that leaves, you've seen it even with Moreno. I probably hated Moreno more than any player that's played for us in the last 6 years. But at the same time, when he goes on Instagram Live, Vamos Liverpool, Manchester United, get out. He's a legend for that.
That
But
was
if you
mad.
look at it deeply, he was a bit shit. I can't lie.
No,
Aiden says we
do you
need
know
a
what's mad? I
gunman.
thought he had an
No,
alright
bro, I'm
end.
not having this. I'm
I
not
thought he had
having
an
this.
alright end. I don't think he was shit. I think you're being a bit harsh on him, man, like Alberto.
I am maybe I am harsh, but I
The Europa
personally
League
hold him
final, the Europa
accountable
League
for
final
the
got
league
to you.
final. No, the league final, League Cup final, and the Europa League final. I personally hold him accountable for both defeats, which would have meant that we had two more trophies. To be fair, but anyway, this isn't a stream about Alberto Moreno. Couple more questions coming in. Should we go for Tielemans? I think there was another question for Basuma, so we'll make it a 2-in-1.
You're probably looking on spending about 60, 70 million, aren't you, on that type of a player? I don't want to spend that much on a Tielemans. I'd rather go for someone like a Basuma or a Ruben Neves.
Okay. I mean, before he went to Leicester, I remember us being really closely linked with Tielemans. He's actually a player I'd love to see, and I think he could be a great replacement for Gini Wijnaldum, to be fair. Couple more questions. Sign Haaland, we win the league. Not going to happen. He's not going anywhere this summer. Because you can get him next year for 50 mil, I think it is. Big question from Trudon. Where will we finish next season, and will we win anything? I've already put my name on that in the hat and said we're going to win the league next season. But what does James think?
Summer can change a lot of things, can't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, you can't ignore that. So I'm going to edge you. It's us or Man City.
Yeah, I said that, to be fair. I agree with you.
Chelsea will be there. Chelsea will be there as well.
Yeah. And Dicko says, I think we'll keep Ben Davis with us listening to offers for Phillips. Going to loan Williams. To be honest, if you're Klopp, are you not thinking, right, Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, like, they're 4th and 5th choice, in my opinion. I mean, Ben Davis, where do we stand with him, James?
Not Reece Williams. So this is the way I do it. I ranked him in a video yesterday, actually, funnily enough. So out of all of our centre-backs, this is the way I look at it in the pecking order. Bearing in mind, everyone's fit. Verge number 1, Matip or Joe Gomez number 2, but I put Joe Gomez because he plays a little bit more. So Joe Gomez number 2, Matip number 3. Then I went with Nat Phillips number 4, and I've included Kanate in this mix, by the way, because he's going to be signing in the upcoming days. I put Nat Phillips number 4 because I always like to give the extra points to someone who I've saw do very, very well in the shirt that I support. Kanate might have done well for Leipzig in a 5-at-the-back formation. That's not for my team. So you're not above someone who's been smashing it for months without Virgil van Dijk, Joel Matip and Joe Gomez. That's just not the way it works. Then I'd go with Kanate, and then I'd go with Ben Davies. I'd still go with Ben Davies above Reece Williams, just based on I haven't saw from Reece Williams what I've saw from Nat Phillips. I don't see that urge to want to defend like the way Nat Phillips does. He's not shit, but he's just not someone who I think we need as an option. I think Ben Davies, someone who was solid in the Championship. Just because we haven't saw him doesn't mean he's shit. Like, when we signed him, I've heard a lot of good things from Preston fans. Granted, Preston fans, you know what I mean? But still, though, I just feel he was 4 million. We're going to need 6 centre-backs, and you can loan out Reece Williams.
Yeah, but in your list there, you've kept Joel Matip. Does that mean you don't sell him this season?
I don't think we're going to sell someone that quality for that amount of money. I feel like we just let his contract run down.
How many years has he got left?
Don't know. Let his contract run down. However
let
long
us
it
know.
is.
Let us know anyway. Aiden says Reece ain't ready at all. And Dicko says Nat Phillips has Burnley written all over him. Hopefully not.
That is also true.
Hopefully not.
Also true.
I mean, I get what he's saying.
There's a club. No, he does. Honestly, Sean Dyche has wanks over the thought of signing Nat Phillips.
He sleeps in bed with Nat Phillips' pyjamas. That's what he does.
A cardboard cutout of Nathaniel Deeney Van Phillips is what Sean Dyche sleeps with on a night-to-night basis. The missus is now on the couch.
Yeah, she's been kicked off. The Bolton Baresi, get him in bed. That's what Sean Dyche says.
Done deal. Breaking news, Liverpool confirmed first signing of the summer in Ibrahima Kanate.
There you go. Breaking news. Breaking news coming into us there, just broken by James Redmond TV on the Kop TV. Wow, what a video this is. Confirmed. Kanate is in. That means surely that now the pecking order for centre backs, in my opinion,
hey, listen, on the topic of the pecking order as well.
Not bad, was it? Not bad, was it? In the no says challenge.
What was you going to say?
Virgil, Joe, Konate, Nat Phillips, Ben Davis, and then you sell Matip and you loan out Reece Williams. That's what I'm going for.
If you keep Matip and Reece Williams, where do you put them in there?
First of all, I don't think that's even an option. But I think they're both going to go. But
right now, they're all of our centre-back options.
Yeah. But I'd have Nat Phillips over Matip purely because I know he won't get injured.
No, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid.
Bro, you can't rely on him.
You can't.
Bro. How many times have I said this at the start of the season? Though you've seen me say this about Matip. I'm keeping the same energy, bro.
He is one of the best centre-backs in the world.
I'm agreeing with you.
He's one of the best centre-backs in the world. You don't put him up below Nat Phillips.
Bro, he is one of the best centre-backs in the world when he's fit, but he's fit 25% of the time, which means we can't rely on you. I'm sorry. You're really good. You're going to play for someone else good. But, lad, your legs are made of skips. You know, they just break after
I don't know. I get your arguments, like you're angry that he gets injured, but I don't think he should be that low on the list. I'll be dead honest.
Matip is made of what's it? Time to sell, says True.
That is also very, very true. That is also
other crisps are available, of course. Revanite says Phillips over Matip for availability. But listen, like I said, I don't think Matip's going to be here come the start of the season. Thank you for your questions. We have got one more thing to let you guys know before we finish off the show, and that is, of course, that the Kop TV and myself, we're moving to Liverpool. We're making the jump in mid-July. We're going to be heading to Liverpool to really take this channel to the next level. And my bro, tell them what we got planned.
We have got a show planned, my friends. Yeah, we have got a show planned. So we haven't done all the ins and the outs, but we are currently in the works of sorting out what is going to be, well, hopefully, just once, twice a week where you can take time out of your day to watch us, be entertained, talk about the almighty Reds on what is hopefully going to be a much better season next year. So listen, regardless what you say about Liverpool, good, bad or indifferent, we are always box office. So make sure you are on the journey next season with me and my brother from a completely different mother in our show that is going to be called a name that we're still willing to decide. But it's going to be Decent Manchester Podcast where we talk about our topics and all that, you know what I mean, what's going on with the club.
Come on, bro. And Dico says, welcome to Scousland. James is right. So we are setting up a show. We've got some names floating about right now, but if you want to give us some names to think about,
that'd be a big help. That'd be a massive help.
That.
Honestly, we could really do it.
Shall I give them the first name? Shall I tell them the name we were thinking of, and we can get some reaction? So this podcast that we're going to start is going to be filmed in person in a studio. It's none of this Zoom rubbish, which obviously is the thing that we've had to deal with. But it's going to be face-to-face in a Liverpool-based studio every single week. And we like the name Hot Copics. Now, this would be not just speaking about Liverpool. We want to be speaking about James's career, my career, living in Liverpool, getting opportunities in this space. It's not just Liverpool, which, of course, we're going to touch on. We're going to speak about everything Liverpool. But I want to know what it is that makes James tick. Why did he, want to go into this game? We're going to be finding out about all of that. But is the name Hot Copics hot for you? Let us know in the comments. Is it the one? Is it the one? And we are going to be starting this towards the end of June, and then it's going to roll in through the summer in Liverpool, where hopefully, as Sugarmane says, we can go for the treble. But James, my brother, it's been an absolute pleasure getting you back on the channel. Like you've all heard, it's going to be a very, very regular occurrence. Hopefully, we'll see you back in London. Claudia says she likes the title of Hot Copics. Mo Salama says, James, we love you. You never walk alone. Absolutely, we do.
We love you too.
So let us know. Hot Copics, is it good? Bro, thank you again. If you'd like to go and subscribe to James, which I'm not going to lie to you, you probably already are. And if you're not, shame on you. I've tagged him in the title. Yeah, we'll just go and follow him. He's a lovely boy. And listen, bro, it's been a very interesting season, but it's been a Liverpool season nonetheless, hasn't it?
Box office on it, mate. You know what I mean? Liverpool don't do it any other way.
Love that. Meat is Murder says Kop Topics is better. I don't know. Hot Copics. It's got a bit of a ring to it. Anyway, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and like this video. We put a lot of time and effort into this, and we will see you next time. Much love. Take care.
Whoa. Just before you go,
don't forget, give us a like, drop us a comment, and subscribe to the Kop TV.
The voice of football's most famous stand.